Hey, this is Henry Penix, the Business Fighter. I'm coming to you today with another podcast where we're going to learn a lot about a lot of things. I've just met these two people that you're going to meet soon. They flip houses, they make a ton of money doing it, and they even teach workshops on how to do it. I think I read somewhere where they flip over 100 a year. They're up in the New York area where everything's the fast and the furious. If you can survive in New York, you can survive anywhere. I'll put it that way. So these are the perfect people to talk about investing, flipping homes. We'll talk about their workshop a little later. But I'd like to welcome Glen and Amber Schworm. Welcome to the Business Fighter podcast.
Thank you so much for having us, Henry.
Thanks, Henry. Yeah, we appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Yeah, love it. I love your tank back there, except that it reminds me of being on Shark Tank. So I'm a little, I flinched just a little bit, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about you guys. So what, tell me kind of how you guys met, how you got started kind of in the business. What was that pull on you that made you want to be an entrepreneur or even get into the housing stuff? Then I want to talk about what you're doing, and then I want you to drop a few golden nuggets on my listeners of what they can do to be successful like you guys. How did it all start?
Oh gosh, so I'll make it as quick as possible, but I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years. So
Wow.
I just turned 50 this year. Well, I'm almost 51. When did that happen? I don't know when that happens, but I started my first business at 19 years old, and I just knew I didn't want to work for somebody else. Since we're talking to entrepreneurs here, I want to make sure they know that was in my heart. It was I just knew I wanted to work for myself.
Sure.
And so I started my own company, an alarm and camera company. Did that for 14 years. I was selling that, and we ended up, Amber. I was in a network marketing business for about 10 years after that, and Amber and I met through that actually, and we were friends for a number of years before we ever became romantically involved. And then Amber's got a good story about her working for entrepreneurs too.
Yeah, my dad actually owned a rubber stamp and engraving company in Irving, Texas. And I always thought I wanted to inherit that when he retired, but then I started really looking at what that was involved with owning a small business. And, you just kind of work your butt off for nothing.
All the time.
Yeah.
It never ends.
I know.
So that was really what made me start looking what was out there, what was more. And I think we grow up in a society where we're taught to, go to school, get an education, go to college. And then most people don't even end up doing anything that they got their college degree for, and they have all the debt to go with it.
Oh, I know. And a liver that's not as in good shape as when they started college.
That never recovers. We bought our first rental property before we started flipping. So we bought our first rental property 10-ish years ago, 10, 11, 12, maybe it was
more
longer
than that. Probably closer to 15 years ago.
So we bought a rental property, did it all wrong, didn't know what we were doing. We tried to be landlords, which that sucks, by the way.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Flipping had always appealed more to me. I love the design. I love taking something ugly and making it beautiful. And those paychecks looked awful nice to me from what I was seeing. So
yeah, and I always wanted to have the residual income of rental, right? I always knew that having a regular income, if entrepreneurs listening, residual income is where it's at, right? We want to have that freedom. That's what we all,
Mailbox money.
Day in and day out. Yeah, just keep coming in. So.
But the thing is, neither one of us came from a real estate background. Neither one of us knew construction.
No.
We didn't have any money. We were $80,000 in credit card debt when we decided to start flipping houses.
Yeah, so that was 2007.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was 2007. So the market was just about to tank, and we didn't know that. And we jumped in, bought our first house. No money out of our own pocket. We figured out a bank loan back then. We figured out credit cards. We figured out how to structure this whole thing. And we flipped our first house, made about 17 grand profit, and said, geez, maybe we're onto something. So we bought our next house, and then we had 2 houses going, and then the market crashed. So here I am with 2 houses.
Oh no.
The whole market, the whole economy, and everybody kept saying, real estate's the worst thing ever. Get out there.
The sky is falling.
And exactly.
We were kind of pot committed. So we had to figure it out. And so
if you guys don't know what that means, pot committed in Texas Hold'em is when you push everything in and you have nothing left. So.
Yeah, we were
literally down to our last $1,700, I think it was. And cash.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So no pressure.
Oh yeah.
No pressure.
We got 4 kids, and we had, there's a lot going on, right? So
oh my God.
we figured it out. So, to shorten the story, we got through that. And we kept pushing on, even though everybody kept saying, don't do it, and real estate's the worst thing. I think one of the nuggets I like to give all your people out there, if you're listening, if you're a new entrepreneur, just be careful who you take advice from.
I love this one.
Because you might wind up just like them.
Amen. Wow. So good. You guys listen to that. Before you take advice from someone, look at what they're doing, look at what they stand for, look at how they've turned out, because if not, you're following in their footsteps.
Yeah, that's where you're going to be.
Yeah, because they may have good intentions. They may be trying to like save you from some sort of problem or whatever, but they don't know what they don't know.
Right. They don't know.
Good point. Good point.
So, as an entrepreneur, we kept pressing through, and we've flipped about 600 houses since then. Our company does about 100 a year. We do a lot of wholesaling. We do a lot of, we now cherry pick a dozen to 20 flips a year. And we hang on to a lot of rentals. We're getting to some Airbnbs that we're doing now as well.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yep. So we love that. And then we started doing our home flipping workshop, because there comes a point as an entrepreneur where you love helping other people and you love to share what you do, and you can help them change their life like you got changed, and also reach your own goals. And we realized that I didn't really want to scale the flipping business, because I think you had mentioned you've done some real estate. Scaling that business out of state and stuff is difficult to do.
So hard. Yeah, loss of quality and everything.
Right, and the contractor issue, and oh boy,
Yep.
It's a headache. So we decided we didn't want to do that. But my passion, when I was 10 years in a network marketing company, they used to fly me around to speak and train, large groups of people that weren't in my group. I loved it. I loved helping people. They'd come up. I can see the smile. I know you got the same thing, right?
Yeah. Well, you're so easy to talk to. I was saying, you guys I want to talk to you all day long, so I can get that.
I get it. So when you're helping other people, it's like, it really kind of got to my soul. I was like, this is great. And if I can help other people, how can I help people have a better life? That's kind of how this started. How do we help people have a better life? So about our third or fourth flip, we made like 70 grand. And I said, gosh, if we could teach other people how to do that, that could change their life. So we could teach this, but let's prove the model first. That's what we said. Let's, if we can prove the model ourselves, because there's nothing worse I hate than someone saying, I'm a real estate investor. And if you really do your homework, they've done one flip or five. Like, oh, really?
I make the analogy that if I'm on a plane and there's turbulence, I want to look up there and see a little bit of gray hair on the pilot, because I want to know that he's been there and done that. I don't want to see some guy that's just got off his flight simulator or playing some game on Xbox flying me. So I get you. So you proved the method.
Yep. And then we started about 3 years ago. We opened up a coaching business, and our tagline is helping everyday people achieve wealth through real estate investing. And so
great.
We started this, we just threw together a little seminar and said, let's see how it goes. And we had a bunch of people show up, more than we expected. And then now we started travel. We've been in about 4 different states in the Northeast, and we're planning out 2020, and we're going to be probably nationwide in different states and different areas with influencers. And it's going to be an exciting run, but we have a great time at those.
Yeah. And I think the cool thing about real estate too is, some people are born, they grow up and they just know they're going to be an entrepreneur. But then there's a lot of people that fall into the wantrepreneur category.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't have the guts to just like quit their job and just be an entrepreneur. And I think that's what's awesome about real estate and flipping houses in particular, is you can really take a very glide step approach to it. It's a business that you can do on the side of your job. And then as you do 1, 2, 3, 4 flips or wholesales or even rental properties, once you start to replace your income, then you have more confidence to kind of make that move.
Yeah.
Really.
That's such an important fact, because I know I worked for a Fortune 150 corporation, and I'd worked my way up to manager. I was in the 0.2 percentile of the company, blah, 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 blah. We were a $3 billion a year company, but I didn't want to be at the other end of a corporate phone call saying, you need to move, you need to do this, you need to do that. I had also just started a family. I wanted to quit so bad, and I had other interests, but I didn't want to let it go until those other interests took the place of my current income. So I did exactly what you were saying. I started small, and as I worked my way up, and it was something I could do on evenings and weekends, when that started taking the place of my other income, then it was like I was set free. And real estate and doing what you guys are talking about is probably the number one way to do just that, right?
I think it's the number one way for average people, because, we didn't have any sort of like a formal education or money behind us or anything. And I think it's the best way for the average person, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman or where your income is or anything. I think no matter where you are or who you are or what kind of education you have, real estate is the best
I
way
think
for average people to create wealth.
I think too, I'm thinking about, we were chatting about your, because I told you I was a fan of you on Shark Tank, even though I thought you're right there, but whatever. So as I saw that, I'm thinking to myself, and this is a compliment. I couldn't do what you do. You got brain power that's beyond what I can think about. Like, I just don't as I heard your technology, I was like, that boy's smart. You know what I mean? So I was, that boy's wicked smart, right? I was like,
I love that. Yeah. That's one of my favorite movies, by the way.
So
how about them apples? Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But I thought about that, and I think with real estate, it's and anybody can get their hands in it, because at our workshops we show them how to get the money. We actually provide money for them. We show them how to find the deals, and it's not we don't do a 3-day fluff workshop. So we do it. People pay $197. If you find a promo code, which we have a lot of them online, it's $147. It's 3 days. And so it's day one is all about, how to find houses, how to fund them. We have a special speaker that comes in from Las Vegas, teaching you how to structure your business for protection and tax savings.
Right.
Day two, we actually go on a bus tour. We go to a local house and we show you our exact checklist that we use. We go.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard of people doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really like a day in a life of an investor.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think one of the most important things, and I think a lot of the people that are on this entrepreneurship podcast will agree with, is that there's even more than the mechanics that hold people back is fear.
Yeah.
Fear of the unknown, fear of what if I fail, what if I succeed? And we really talk a lot about that, because in business, no matter what business it is, you're not going to succeed if your head's not in the right place.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so we talk a lot about mindset and how to be successful.
The best analogy I can give you for that is that we spend Friday morning at the workshop, and I say, listen, I need permission to talk to you guys about your foundation. I say, what's the most important part of a house? And everyone says, eventually they get around to the foundation. Great. So if a foundation is shaky on a house, is it going to last? No. I said, so what's the most important part of your business? And they finally get around to me. I say, right. So if you are the most important part, if we can't get you strong, what's going to happen to your business over time? I say, will it crumble right away? Nope. But as soon as you start piling on pressure, and right, Henry, the more you pile on pressure and your business grows and scale or whatever, you apply pressure and you're not right in the head and the heart, forget it, man, you're done. So
it's hard to move forward when you lack confidence, but when you have, the formulas in place, all the how-tos, and then the confidence to move forward because you're making an educated decision, an intelligent decision, then that fear starts to dissipate.
Yeah. Mechanics and mindset is what we spend so much time on with all the students that work with us. And I think we're having a much higher success rate than any other company out there because of that. People say, why do you think you're having so many of your students are doing well? We have so many success stories in just 3 years. We have hundreds of them already. It's because I think we work so much on the mindset that some people will fight us on it. We provide mindset coaches if people want to have that. And the people that have that say, I didn't believe in that at first, but I'm telling you what, ever since I got that, now I have the confidence. When I have fear, they help me work through the fear. Wow. And the fear is, fear holds people back from being the best version of themselves.
I call it head trash. I think we all have head trash, whether it's from our childhood or experience in our life or whatever, but there's a reason why we are where we are in our life. And if we can work through that head trash, game over.
And what's funny is our minds are already conditioned through evolution to be fearful. So when the saber-toothed tiger is chasing you or you're trying to hide out in a cave, that fear saves your life. So it used to be an actually good thing, but now it's debilitating.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a tiger chasing us necessarily, but we still have that fearful mindset. So you do something that I haven't heard that a lot of people do. A lot of people just get to the mechanics and the technology of it. But if you don't have that yourself, like you said, Glenn, the systems in place and your foundation, you're only as strong as your weakest brick in that foundation. So attack that brick. If that weak brick is fear, how can you get over it? And then move on to the mechanics of it, because then literally anything is possible. Tell people, Guy, and you're on the Henry Penix podcast, Business Fighter, tell people how they can get a hold of you if they want more information. This time has flown by. We have a few more minutes. I've got a couple more questions for you, but right now, if people want to attend one of your seminars or do the home flipping workshop, how do they get a hold of you guys?
So they can go right to homeflippingworkshop.com. That's that website. If they want to follow Glenn and I, we have several companies, real estate related, They can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, all under Glen with 2 N's, Glen and Amber Schworm, SCHWORM.
The workshops we do about 1 a month because we show up in person. We don't hire speakers to go out and do it for us. We're there in person. So if you want
that was going to be one of my questions.
You want to learn from the horse's mouth. I guess I'm the horse.
Makes you the horse.
Yeah. That makes you the horse. Yeah.
I won't ask what you are, Amber.
Yeah. Leave that alone. Okay. Anyway, so
I'm moving right along. Tune in next week for an Amber will say. Now, God, this, oh my gosh, this has been so much fun. You've dropped, and I hope my listeners go back and listen to this over and over and over because you've already dropped 2 or 3 golden nuggets. I want to re-emphasize what you said about fear because that's a big thing that I teach on. My father used to tell me fear is the acronym for false evidence appearing real. And I used to think that was kind of goofy until I started experiencing more of that. And it is 99% of the time, it's false evidence. How can you turn that false evidence into something that's true? You do that by expelling the myth. How do you expel the myth? You get trained by guys like you who have been there, done that, will actually take people to the house, take them through the checklist and say, you know, at one point in time, I thought that this was the case and it scared me away. But now I know through experience, this is not the case. I overcame fear. I overcame all those things that were holding me back. And now I have the choice and the freedom to be a successful entrepreneur like you guys are. So, dude, that is so good. I'm so excited. If there was one more like really golden nugget that you see that's common between everybody that you've talked to, all the testimonials that you guys have, if you see that one thing that's probably the thing that comes up the most, that in the next 2 minutes you could answer for my listeners, what would that one thing be, that biggest golden nugget? And if it is still fear, talk more about it. If it's something else, let me know what that one thing is that people could walk away from here and say, I got blessed.
So I have 2 words. They're very simple. It's don't quit. And that's when you have a goal in mind, don't overlook the simplicity of that sentence. When you have a goal in mind, you can't quit because it is going to get so freaking hard. You are going to get the bigger the goal, the harder the journey. I know we could sit and talk for hours. We can share war stories and probably, but you don't get to where you are in life. Even those guys on Shark Tank, I guarantee you, they've got war stories and everyone who's reached a level of success, the only way you fail is to quit. It's God willing, the time will go by in your life anyway. You'll get older and hopefully we all die when we're older and all that kind of stuff, but it had a good life. But the time's going to go by. If you quit, you fail. And you will regret that. You will be on your deathbed and go, yeah, so I started that real estate investing, but I didn't follow through. I started that new, deal, that business deal. I didn't go through. I started that company. I had that idea and I didn't go through. You'll regret that, I think. And that'll be horrible to live with for the rest of your life. But if you just don't quit, you'll have a sense of because someday, eventually, the odds turn in your favor because all of a sudden, all that grind, all that hustle, it comes out. And then as you know, people say, oh, you're lucky. And you say, lucky? I've been busting my ass for 30 years. I'm not just lucky.
Right.
I'm lucky. I'm doing what I'm, it's not an overnight success. It's been 30 years in the making.
Yeah. No, I mentioned earlier that I've worked with a couple of artists and done some artist management. And so many people have that 7-year overnight success. It's the root system that's established. You guys have heard about the bamboo tree that takes 2 years and you hardly see anything happening. And then in 90 days, it goes like 80, 90 feet tall because those first 2 years, it was growing deep before it could grow tall. So what you're talking to me about today is growing deep and getting your root system established, getting rid of the fear, answering those questions that maybe just fallacies that could be holding you back. And then we've got that root system established. Don't freaking quit. Don't freaking quit. Don't quit. Because if you do, you're never going to know what that tree is going to grow into. You're never going to realize the fruits of your labor. And a lot of times, and I won't go off on this because I'm getting ready to get tuned up again here, but a lot of times people go 2-3 years and quit an inch before the finish line. Then they start on something else, do the same thing, start on something else, do the same thing. I think the worst day in a person's life, or the worst thing that God may look down and see, is a graveyard full of unwrapped gifts that we were given to operate in on this earth and never went for it, or never went as far on something as we could have to see the ultimate goal line and the finish line. We quit. And I'm with you, man. I'm with you 1,000%. That's probably the best piece of advice, and probably the best thing to end this podcast on, is don't quit. Any last 30-second words that you have?
Well, I was just going to say, along with that, is the great thing with us is if you're having those kind of self-doubts, we're there to help. We tell our students, if you've got that self-doubt creeping in, if you don't think you can do it, if you've got, a crab in your ear, whatever, reach out to us, call us. We're there to help.
And Henry, I'll tell you this, to all your listeners, we have those self-doubts too. We've only just met. I guarantee you have them too. We've all got to work through them every day, no matter what level. People think we don't have those. We absolutely have them. We've just found tools to get through. And some days I get smacked by her. She'll go, knock it off. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. But I'm
going to be stronger than your energy.
Yeah.
Today.
Some days.
Good. Well done.
I'm stronger. But we help each other because you're not in the fight alone. As an entrepreneur, you're hanging around guys like Henry, hanging around us. You're not in the fight alone because we're in the trenches with you. We're going through the same crap. We just have a few more tools in our tool belt to help you get through it. And we're looking for more tools too. Every day.
Love this, man. This has been amazing. You guys are the total package. You really are. You've got the heart for it. You've got the head knowledge for it, and you've got the humility and spirit to go there yourself, get your hands dirty, roll up your sleeves with these people, show them the homes they may be flipping, letting them into your inner sanctuary and hear from the horse's mouth, like you said, Glenn. Thank you so much for being on this podcast. I hope you guys have a ton of success. I hope you do 200 houses next year, and I hope you talk to 1 million people because people need to hear this. And like you said, Amber, this is the best thing for normal people, for average people, for the person wanting to break out and have more choices, who want to start maybe on evenings and weekends. This is the thing to do. And what I love about real estate, and I've been involved in a lot of developments, is real estate is a fixed asset. So it's not going to blow away. It's not going to be like an idea for another company that if it doesn't work or you didn't do your R&D, it's gone. You're always going to have dirt to put your hands in. You're always going to have a wall to lean up against. You're always going to have something there. Even if you don't buy it right, you're still going to be in it. You're not going to ever have a total loss or failure. So I love what you guys are doing. Thank you again for spending your time with me. This is Henry, the business fighter. Hope you guys tune in. Hope you guys share this with 10 other people that you know that also want to step out, have the freedom and choice, and flip homes, make smart choices like these guys have. All right. Have a great day, and I hope to talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.